Tim from, it was Uninterruptible Power Supplies Limited, but you've had a recent name change. Can you perhaps let us know a bit about the thinking behind that?
Yes, certainly. So we've rebranded as Kohler Uninterruptible Power. That helps us bring together the different brands that we've had. We've got operations in Ireland and in Singapore and in the UK, so it gives us something to focus around, and it highlights the fact that we're part of the Kohler Group, a large privately held US group, which is good because being privately held they can invest for the long term, which is what they've been doing. So putting Kohler front and centre in our name has been a big step for us, but we think it's time to do it. It's 10 years since we were acquired by them. They've been investing in us, so we're now seizing that. Also, Kohler is a sponsor of Manchester United. Small football team, so they're an arms sponsor there, enables us to link into that and build the brand a little bit there too.
I guess then we're very lucky because our DCS Awards, you're the headline sponsor, so we can say, along with Manchester United, you're sponsoring us as well.
That's right, yes. We're putting you in the same category there to try and support the industry, support what's going on there. We want to help you and people recognise the achievements of people and things that have been done there. Give us a little bit of brand awareness at the same time.
And in terms of moving on to the sort of what's going on in the industry, hot topics, a lot of people are talking about the edge at the moment, and as part of that we've got sort of IoT and I guess 5G when it arrives. Is that having any impact on your business and the way you're sort of designing product systems for the future?
Certainly, yeah, I think it's a very exciting time. There's lots of different trends. I've done some analysis for a parent group to look at those sorts of things. And there's competing things going on from what we can see. There's the drive for efficiency. People are wanting to get more efficient units in terms of processing power, but then the overall demand for the processing power through things like, we hear about edge, we hear about IoT, Industry 4.0, all the things that are coming in there that are actually putting processing and energy use at a higher level. So although it might be more efficient per processing cycle, there's more of it, it's more prevalent. I think in the past maybe the use of UPS and backup power in things like retail might not have happened, but we can look at things. Vista Village, for example, has got something like 7 million visitors a year. 25% of them are Chinese. They spend 4 hours there, and the vast majority of them have got no cards and no cash. If they can't pay by WePay or if they can't pay by Alipay, then they'll walk away. Nobody would have thought that sort of application would have been a big requirement for uninterruptible power. That sort of thing is changing. Those things are pushing the demand for the processing side and the dependence on it, and as a result of that, for the critical power protection as well. So that, along with things like edge, is certainly making it an interesting time for us.
And I guess sort of flexibility and agility are sort of requirements for a lot of businesses, and presumably modularity in product design is therefore becoming more important.
Absolutely. So a lot of people are not wanting to invest all their money straight away in a very big system, but they want the capability to do it and to be able to scale it by maybe not having to put in a whole new unit each time. Modular systems allow them to do that, so they're able to go in, put the floor print in, and then they can add in more modules as they need it. The other thing it gives them is the ability to switch down. So if they've got a variable load, then they can, with clever software, they can switch off certain units, put them into standby, and have them come back in when they're needed. So the overall running cost is a lot less expensive than if you were just running a big standalone unit but at a very low load. And I think that's one of the reasons people like IHS Markit are reckoning that the modular market is going to grow significantly faster than the standalone as we go forward.
And I guess we can't talk about UPS systems without mentioning lithium-ion batteries. Any thoughts on how that market is developing at the moment and maybe into the future?
Yes, it's a slightly controversial viewpoint perhaps, but the price of lithium has come down tenfold. There's no forecast that suggests it's going to even half in the next 10 years. So it's still very expensive, probably 3 times the cost of a good VRLA system. So we see some applications, and we're getting inquiries, and we're starting to put things out there, but they tend to be the more difficult applications. So they tend to be the ones with a limited footprint, or they tend to be the ones that have a limited weight bearing. So they're obviously 50% or so lighter and smaller than a lead acid battery. However, the cost of running them is a little bit unproven. It's hard to imagine at the moment. Nobody's got proven data to show that it's going to last 15 years. So the life cycle cost analysis is a little bit speculative at the moment. And even with that, the cost of buying them and running them and owning them are, for most people, still prohibitively high. We envisage perhaps some of the trends that are in lithium to spread across to VRLA. So what we might see is the intelligent monitoring that's happening and the intelligent management, so the balancing of charging between batteries that's going on with lithium, that will start to come across more to the VRLA side. So we've got information that shows that even with the VRLA system, if you put the same battery management system onto it that you might have on a lithium system, which is there predominantly for safety on lithium, if you put that onto a VRLA system, you can get 30% longer life out of it. So perhaps that's one of the things that we might see, is that the lessons learned with lithium will start to come across to the VRLA. And over the longer time, as the recycling is a little bit more defined, at the moment it's a bit sketchy in terms of lithium, and as the price comes down, then maybe we will see more use of lithium. At the moment, though, I think the jury's very much out on that.
Okay, we've covered a reasonable amount of topics. Are there any other sort of industry issues people need to be aware of, and/or a couple of pieces of advice to end users who are looking at their sort of UPS system strategy, what they need to consider?
I guess it's about the support side. It's just about looking and making sure that you're using a supplier that has a good, fully national network of people who can help you out. You want to be able to get the spares. So Brexit will create a couple of challenges there for people in terms of making sure that they can get spares. So they want to choose a supplier that's got a good local stock holding, not having to bring stuff in from all over the world. A trusted supplier that's been working and installing stuff in the UK for a long time, and that's just got the feet on the street to be able to respond when you need them to.
Okay, that's great. Thanks very much for your time.
Thank you very much.